Hey, folks, that's right. This is your man, Adolphus A.D. Moore, high atop the NRG Stadium today. And guess what? I know. This Christmas Eve, I'm not going to be Debbie Downer. Yeah, the Texans had their heads handed to them today. The Cleveland Browns walked in here today and just handed the Houston Texans their heads today, literally, figuratively, and everything else. Now, that smiling gentleman that you see sitting next to me, and I'm going to add Elwin Henderson up here because we all getting ready to kick this. Elwin, you up, man? Can you hear me? I know you got your big championship shirt on.
Yeah, I'm good, brother.
Okay, all right. Here's the deal: the Texans went down today to the Cleveland Browns, 36-22. Do not let that score deceive you. It was a flat-out butt kicking, and as Mr. Gibson can finally ascertain and admit, y'all came in here today, and I see why you stayed at home. Besides the fact I know you and I had already talked. I knew you said, no, Christmas Eve would have been the other time I'd have been there. But you know what? You sat back in your relaxed atmosphere, had your feet up, and was drinking orange juice and seltzer water and everything else.
Yeah.
So anyway, Mr. Gibson, your initial reactions to the Browns coming in here today and making this Cleveland too.
First of all, thank you. I made it to the corner, number one. So I'm excited for that. Appreciate the opportunity. We talked about this for a while, but initial reaction. Once I saw C.J. Stroud would be out for the second straight week with concussion protocol, I felt better, I'll say. But with all due respect, we've seen Case Keenum. We've seen Case Keenum in Cleveland the last few years prior. He's been in Houston, I believe, the last 2 years, but prior to that, he was in Cleveland. So, Great guy. I mean, without question. But, I mean, anytime, you go to your backup quarterback, there's some expected drop-off. And I say that, but Cleveland's on their fourth quarterback of the season. So, I mean, but I have confidence. The confidence in this organization grows week to week. The defense has been lights out all year. And Kevin Stefanski is finding his groove. Finally year 4. He was kind of he had I guess in his mind what he thought an NFL coach should be. And that's fine. He was following the script. I shouldn't say that about the NFL. Better choice of words. He was
go ahead. This is the corner, player.
Yeah.
We let it hang out on. Hey, no censorship on the corner. We let it hang.
I got you. But he was following the plan. And so now I think he's, become a lot more comfortable in this position and comfortable in his role. And he's allowing more of his personality to come across publicly. Because, we've always known he's been privately amongst his team, had a great personality. But in that being that it's exposed publicly, you're seeing now his team to play a lot looser. And it's a next man up mentality. This team has been ravaged by injuries, a couple more today. And through it all, they've been just answering the bell each and every week. So,
Elwin, your initial comment, and by the way, he's got his state championship, Gilmer State Championship shirt on. They beat Belleville, the local team down in the area, the Houston area. But as I mentioned last week, to the Gilmer Buckeyes, congratulations. But he's got his shirt on. We call him Elwin on the road because normally when he gets through, he's riding back to East Texas. But we doing this thing, he's on the road. Elwin, your initial comments, man.
Well, I knew going against, just like has already been pointed out, the tremendous Cleveland defense. I didn't have a lot of confidence coming down here that Case Keenum or Davis Mills or anybody that wasn't C.J. Stroud was going to be able to pull off the win. But just like you and I talked during the game, extremely disappointed that they basically didn't show up to the fourth quarter. And by that time, the Browns had a number of backups in, so it was just mop-up time and didn't really mean anything. Very disappointing, but we did get some help because the Colts lost, and they're sitting at 8-7, just like the Texans. And the last score I saw, the Jaguars were down 10-0. So we still may be in great shape. And if we can get C.J. Stroud back next week, I feel confident about our opportunity to be there to win those last two games.
Yeah. Tell you what, before we go a little bit further, I'm going to our sponsor, Mr. Ken Ross. But hey, I would be remiss. We talking about the Cleveland Browns. I would be remiss if I didn't just make this statement now. You know, back on May 18th, 2023, we lost the icon. You know, number 32, James Nathaniel Brown, and you can't say anything about the history of the Cleveland Browns if you don't say anything about Jim Brown. And so Jim at 87 passed on. And so, as I mentioned earlier, and his good friend and his longtime companion, Mr. John Wooten, who I'm going to state this right now, and I'll continue to state it, should be in the Hall of Fame, should already been in the Hall of Fame, but there's a spot there, and as far as I'm concerned, they need to put the conscience of the NFL in the Hall of Fame right there, the message guard that used to lead the way for Jim Brown on a lot of those many runs. So I just want to just say that, you know, we talking about the Cleveland Browns, and like I said, I can't go any further without just sitting there and saying about mentioning the fact that the icon himself, Jim Brown, number 32, you know, left us back on pay. And so, you know, with Cleveland being here. So that being said, I'm gonna go to break, and then we coming back, and we'll just cut this thing up and continue to cut it up and see where we're gonna go.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
It's 281-235-5952. The Ken Ross Agency has been my agency, my agent of choice and by favor, 40 plus years. Yeah, I'm that old. Just these gray hairs on my face. It's not just for men. This is the real. This is the real deal. But anyway, Joe Flacco and Case Keenum. I sort of build them as the AARP quarterbacks of the league coming in there. Flacco's 38. I think Keenum's 36 now. I'm being a little bit hyperbole there, guys. But you know, let's face it. How many 38-year-old guys got there throwing? Today Joe Flacco reminded me of Darryl LaMonica. I mean, it was just bomb. It was bombs away today. Second play, 53 yards to Amari Cooper, and before you know it, they're already up. And let's face it, Amari Cooper. And I'm pretty sure, you know, Dallas Cowboys are probably saying right now, "Oh, well, that's okay. We let Amari go." I got a feeling y'all probably could have fit Amari Cooper in with that team with the star on the helmets, because Amari Cooper he had 15 targets today, 11 catches, 264 yards. His longest one was a 75-yard bomb. And I'm like I tell you, man, and it's interesting. Joe, like I say, Flacco today reminded me a lot of Darryl LaMonica. He just stepped back and just throw it deep. And guess who was running under, guys? I mean, this looked like the old AFL days. We just bombs away, and they just kept rolling. And so, you know, Cleveland, you know, and now here's the one who I thought was probably going to wreak havoc today. I thought Myles Garrett was going to have a, but Myles Garrett was quiet today, Willie. I mean.
Well, here's the thing. Miles has had a little issues with the referees the last 3 weeks. There's a video each week. There's a staff member that compiles a video of the holding. Last week was crazy because Miles got tackled several times before he got to Justin Fields, and no holding calls have been called. And Miles Kelly probably said something. The irony last week was Commissioner Goodell was in Cleveland watching the game. He participated in a ceremony pregame, and postgame they asked Miles about again. What are your thoughts on no tackles, no sacks being held? And he had a two-word response: "Ask Roger."
Oh,
whoa!
So yeah, it's been noticed, and then for it to happen again today.
Well, let me ask a quick question.
Yeah.
To the best of your knowledge, has he gotten a letter from that place in Manhattan?
Not yet. That's been kind of the scuttlebutt all week. Is we know it's coming, but as of yet, no. As of yet, no.
Well, tell him this. Tell him this. Hold on, because the folks in Kansas City, I know Andy Reid got one, and all of them. For a couple of weeks ago, when they were sitting there ranting and raving about, excuse me, guys, talking about offside. Speaking of offsides, and I'm gonna hit my soapbox. I mean, yeah, I know they call offside, but I mean, hey guys, I mean, collectively, I think we got over. When you look at all our years of covering this game, offsides. I mean, you take it for what it's worth, but it's almost like they calling. I mean, if it's close, they calling it now. And I know what the league just said. I know what the league then put out the memorandum. Well, we won, guys, and I see receivers come up and point down to the heads lineman or the line judge, and checking their spots and everything. And I understand that, but I'm sitting there going like, and be candid with you, things that I thought was offside isn't offside. And I guess you have to be 1.5 feet above the ball now for the offside to be called. Is that the way? Is that your Willie, Elvin? Is that y'all understanding what offsides is now? I don't know.
Supposedly, yes, but if you go back and look at that video, the toe of Tony's foot was over the line, and they called offsides, and that's what Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid were so upset about. And I mean, I don't understand. I mean, no more than maybe an inch. To me, that's nitpicking. I know the league said we're going to call it this year, but, they're putting so many restrictions on the game now. It's almost taking some of the major plays of a lot of teams out of the game because they're calling it so tight. I still don't understand that play. I don't blame Reid and Mahomes for getting upset, and I don't understand why half of a foot is going to be called as offsides, but it was, to my understanding, supposed to be 1.5 feet, but Tony's was no more than maybe an inch to an inch and a half. That was the most ridiculous call I've seen in the NFL all season long.
Yeah, but let me ask this question. Was he offsides according to the rules?
Well, I mean, according to the rule, if you're 5 centimeters offsides, I guess you are. But I saw some video, and that's what Mahomes was complaining about. He said that Tony actually pointed to the official, but the official was looking the other way and didn't see him point. So therefore, the official called it, even though he had pointed and asked him, okay. So, that's bogus to me.
I would say this. That's like, all right, my child asked me, Dad, can I take the car? But I don't hear her, but she takes the car. Is she allowed to take the car? Well, she asked me. I disagree with that one. I mean, it's his responsibility to be acknowledged by the referee. Yeah, I pointed, but if he didn't see me, that's on me. That's not on the ref.
I don't think he knew that the ref didn't see him, though.
Well, Elvin, I know the film. I noticed the play you calling because I saw the same thing. But when he walked up to the line of scrimmage, he looked inside to the ball and pointed his hand, and he didn't look down at the referee. When he walked up, he pointed down there, but he was looking inside at the ball. Yep. And now if he didn't look down there to see the referee, because I mean, let's face it, I've seen as I stated, we got enough years in between us, man. That probably go back to Paul Brown or whatever Vince when they were playing the leather helmets. When you add up all the years when we covered this game, but that's still on the receiver. Every last one of them walk up there. They look down at that official, make sure they got that official's attention, and then. But he didn't do that. He walked up there, had his finger out, but he was looking inside at the ball, and I'm still sitting there going like, dude, you're a good football length over the ball. At least where his head was, when you look down that line, his head was clearly a good, a football length over the ball. Now, I've seen defensive tackles and everybody, they actually, crowd the line of scrimmage, and several times, I'm trying to figure out, okay, how, and then I guess I'm trying to understand, then what is the neutral zone?
Right.
I mean, explain to me what the neutral zone is. Because the way these guys are crowding the line of scrimmage now, I mean, the neutral zone must be, does it go back and forth? Is there a neutral zone? Or is the neutral zone the length of the football?
Well, I just think there's no consistency by the officials, and that's on the league. Because I saw the next week after the Tony call, I saw at least 4 times in 3 different games when the receiver's foot was way far past where Tony's was that weren't called. And I think that's the biggest thing with me is whatever it is, just make it consistent and make sure every officiating crew knows when are we going to call it and when are we not. And that, to me, is on the league for not spelling it out explicitly enough to the officials.
Yeah, okay. But, okay. I mean, that, you know what? I still say I just never, I mean, what we sit up there, when I sit there and while I see some of these guys, the way they crowd the line of scrimmage now and let them, they let them go. And I understand what you're saying, Elwin, because you're right, there is no consistency. But
none.
But the only thing consistent about the NFL officiating is being inconsistent. So
absolutely.
I'll leave it at that. Hey, Willie, so the Browns, I mean, that division, the Steelers won, the Browns, and so where we, I mean, obviously everybody's looking up at the Ravens. Where do they go from here, man?
Well, what today's win does, number one, it's the third 10-win season for the Browns since 1999. So
wow,
what's that, 24 years? Yeah, the third 10-win season for the Browns since 1999.
Wow.
So I'll let you know what this team has been, this franchise, this organization has been going through. What it does for them is sets up Thursday night. They have a home game, the home finale against the Jets. It's a win and in scenario. They win, takes them to 11-5. That gets them in the playoffs. So.
Well, I got a question for you while you're talking about being in the playoffs. When Deshaun went down, did the Cleveland media and fans, were you like, oh no, there goes our season? Or was there a confidence that what this team in Cleveland has done was going to happen?
You want me to tell the truth or lie?
Well, you flip a coin.
Tell the truth or lie.
Yeah.
I can give you what you want. You want me to tell the truth or you want me to lie?
Tell the truth.
All right. Oh, I was over.
I want the truth, man.
I was over.
I thought so too. I think everybody thought that.
Yeah, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. And to that point, Deshaun really hadn't been playing well until that Ravens game. The game he got hurt, he was 14 for 14 in the second half with a broken shoulder.
Right.
He got hit in the second quarter and sustained that injury in the second quarter. You look at that second half, he was 14 for 14 with a broken shoulder. So everyone thought he had finally turned the corner. He had sat out the 11 games the year previous. He came back. He was getting reps. He was shaking off the rust, knocking off the rust. That Ravens game, it's like, okay, this is DW4 we've been looking for. And he's hurt, out for the season. So, yeah, it pretty much was a wrap at that point.
Well, do you think that maybe it galvanized the team and caused them to come together knowing that everybody thought it was over, and maybe you never want to say an injury is good for a team, but do you think that maybe that made them more determined? Hey, we're going to pick up the slack, and that's what's resulted in this.
I don't, only because this team has always been close. This team has been close from day one.
They have, yeah.
Yeah. This team has been close from day one. So it wasn't, okay, now our leader's gone. Now we got to come together. They were together. So because they were together, that allowed them to go on this run that they had.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, let's face it. You lost your workhorse running back.
Yep.
Yeah, y'all done lost something. And let's face it. At this point of the NFL season, everybody's roster has been depleted.
Right.
Because y'all. Today y'all lost your kicker. Justin Hopkins. You lost him with, I think, with a pulled hamstring or whatever. Pulled muscle, and he couldn't kick anymore. I mean, the Texans defense of the day in the first quarter, they lost 3 starters, man. Just like that. I mean, and now to D'Amico's credit, like I said, D'Amico going, everybody getting hurt, and he didn't walk into the press of the day and try to make excuses. He just walked in and say, no, everybody get hurt, but it's next man up. But when I was sitting up here looking down on that bench, we can go next man up all day. It was no next man coming up.
No,
I mean, it was depleted down there, man. And so, they had enough folks, but particularly from the secondary and Jonathan Gennard, he's already at a double digit sack season, and he was I'm pretty sure he was looking to eat today. He was looking to feast today. Mm-hmm. And so, we had to go, man. But
I would say this. Cleveland is on their 5th and 6th tackles of the season.
Offensive tackles?
Offensive tackles.
Wow.
Ron Christian and James Hudson III are the 5th and 6th tackles for the Cleveland Browns. Let alone, as you said, they lost Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb, and everyone else. Thursday, for like the last 3 weeks, people kind of were lamenting Thursdays, because Thursdays when you found out the injuries that occurred. Mo Hurst, defensive tackles, out for the year. Oronko Peck, not officially out for the year. They won't put him on IR yet, but he hasn't played for the last 2 games. He has a pec injury. He's probably won't play in the rest. He probably's not playing the rest of the year, so he's out. You've had, Riley McLeod, safety, out for the year. Every Thursday it was like, okay, don't let it be somebody else today, and it was. Anthony Walker has been out the last couple weeks. He finally had a knee scope this week. He's out maybe the rest of the year, regular season. So again, that's why I go back to earlier, how this team has just come together. Kevin Stefanski, and not only Kevin Stefanski, and I get on it locally up here. This isn't said enough. General Manager Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry is by far the executive of the year in my book. For the losses that the players that this team has lost, and yet they're 10-5, holding on to the 5th seed in the playoffs, starting, as I said, their 5th and 6th tackles, their 4th quarterback, let alone however many other players that they've signed. Joe Flacco a month ago was sitting on the couch throwing to his brother.
Yeah.
And now look what he's doing. So Andrew Berry does not get the credit I feel he deserves as much, but I want to make sure I continue to call his name and give him the credit that he so rightfully deserves, and what he's done to continue to put players on this roster. And then once they get there, of course, Kevin Stefanski is coaching them up. But Andrew Berry is by far, in my mind, the executive of the year.
Well, I tell you what, and you know what, I won't dispute you on that, but I know there's some folks down here advocating for Nick to be the executive of the year. Seriously, they're his prior couple of years with the draft picks, but every draft pick that the Texans had this past season is on this roster. Now, they played, they've contributed. I mean, but because generally, I mean, I'll be candid with you guys. What, nine? I think 9 draft picks they had this year. I think, yeah, it was more than regular. It was about 9 draft picks that they had this year. Every last one of them have played. Now, some of them on IR, but I've yet to see any team in the NFL have they complete that they draft and they still on the team, the current team. I mean, so I just call it, just state the facts as they are. I'm not advocating Nick one way or the other. I'm just saying, and I appreciate you, Will, for just bringing those points up, because Joe, like you said, Joe Flacco sitting at home on his couch, and I'm watching him around here throwing. I mean, and we've always known Flacco had a big arm, but today, oh man, oh man.
He looked like a fourth-year player just really getting into his groove, starting his career.
Yeah. I mean, this was not even the Joe Flacco that was with to me, this is a different Joe Flacco than even with the Baltimore Ravens when they won, man.
Absolutely.
He'll be 39 years old in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Well, what, Brady played to what, 40, 41?
45.
Yeah, 45.
45.
Was Brady 45? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, so much for him. All right, guys. As we get ready to get toward the end of the clock, Will, I think you and I we supposed to roll over.
You already know.
Yeah, I already know, man. Chris said, yeah, when y'all get through, you and Will rolling over here with me, and I'm going. He said, you just gonna sit right where you are, and we're gonna roll over. So let me just.
That's why I didn't come down there today. There you go.
Let me tell a quick story about Will. Was it last year?
Yep.
I walked. It was last year.
Yep.
I'm walk up in the press box there, and I'm looking over here, and I'm going like Willie Gibson. And I you walk past. I'm going like, but no, I'm thinking Will go. He ain't giving nobody heads up or nothing.
No.
I'm walking, and I walk back up here, and I'm going like, Will, what you doing?
Yeah, you told on me. I was trying to sneak in.
He's sitting at the table talking about, oh man, I was just trying to slide in. Oh yeah, right. Like as if we don't know you.
Right.
Will, quickly,
yes,
let's talk. Let's give me a quick update on your Buckeyes, man. I would be remiss not having you on and not being able to give us a quick update because. Oh, by the way, before you do that, remember, Chris Gardner is coming up with Will and myself on Houston Roundball. I think folks talking sports.
Yep.
We'll be doing that on Houston Roundball, but also if you have not subscribed to the AdMax Corner channel, please do so. And if you have not subscribed to the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel, please subscribe. And if you have not subscribed to Folks Talking Sports, please subscribe. Hey, do that. Hey, I got a good. I thought it was good. I already shared it with Chris the other day. This year, I mean, and with the advent and everything else that I've been able to do, it had over 4,000 views, man, just coming this year. So it's building, it's growing, and thanks to guys like you all, Will and Elwin, Elwin on the road. Like I say, we come to have fun, guys, and I was texting you. I say, regardless of where, man, I don't care win or lose, we're gonna have some fun today, man.
Yeah,
and so I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you coming on, and so. Will, quick, Buckeye. I mean, Ron Day. Did y'all extend his contract, or y'all gonna wait till Harbaugh leave before y'all extend his contract at DOI? I'm messing with you now.
I know. Right. Ryan Day got an extension last year, so he's good. But no, the Buckeyes arrived in Dallas yesterday. Marvin Harrison Jr. was on the flight. He was involved in practices prior to the Christmas break. That being said, I still don't believe Marvin Harrison Jr. will play on Friday. I think he's being a great teammate. I think he's being a great teammate. I believe they speak on Tuesday next that they practiced today. Travion Henderson did practice, so all indications are pointing that he will play, and all indications, for that matter, are pointing that Travion Henderson is coming back for his senior season, and he should, based on reports I've seen. He's a mid to late second round pick. He's been injured every year. He's been a tremendous talent, but he's been injured every year he's been at Ohio State. And to speak on the elephant in the room, his NIL. Quite honestly, he makes more in NIL than he would make as a mid to late second round pick in the NFL. So,
okay, so here's my question, Will.
Yeah.
So I hate to ask you, what is Marvin Harrison's NIL?
I know. I try to stop these young man's pockets, but I will say this. I believe Marvin's NIL was about 1.5 this year. In comparison, to keep it local with you guys in Houston, CJ's NIL last year was 2.3. Yeah. Now there are reports that there are, as I like to call them, the friends of the program that are cobbling together a NIL package in the neighborhood of $20 million for Marvin to come back from the senior season. Yes. Sorry,
quickly, let me ask you, let me interrupt you. How much is, I know, do y'all have any idea what Marvin Harrison Sr. might be? Where is he in this? I know he's in the equation.
I'm building up to something.
Okay, go ahead.
So but I'll just get to the point. All that being said, there's nowhere in the world Marvin Harrison is coming back for his senior season. I'll say it. I'll put it on wax. The question is, will he play on Friday? I don't believe he's going to play on Friday. I don't believe he should play on Friday. And ADM is Buckeye as they come. But he should not play on Friday for several reasons. Well, one, the injury factor. Two, his quarterback was Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord is in Syracuse right now. While Devin Brown is good and he's the next one in line, Marvin Harrison didn't play with Devin Brown. He played with Kyle McCord. So why am I going to go on the field unless this was a CFP game? What does it benefit Marvin Harrison to go on this field Friday with Devin Brown? I believe what's happening is what happened a few years back with Denzel Ward in the Cotton Bowl, a few years back, more recently with Chris Olave in the Rose Bowl.
Right.
You practice, you travel, you stick around the team, you be a good teammate, and then 30 minutes before the game, they announce you're not playing. That's what I believe. From reports, Marvin is. He spoke once in the pre-bowl period. Didn't really share a lot. Reports are he's strongly considering playing on Friday. Personally, I hope he doesn't, but we shall see.
So Marvin Harrison Sr., what have you heard on the back channel? What is Daddy Harrison saying? I mean,
I think Marv Sr. is of the mindset. Let's get ready for late
Combine.
April. Let's get ready for late April.
Okay, makes sense to me.
Yeah, and I'll say this, and again, I hate getting in people's pockets. I'm not pocket God. I'm not counting pockets God. But for the people that want to say $20 million NIL, number one, the third pick of the 2024 NFL draft in year one will make $24.1 million.
Wow.
So the math isn't mathing, as they say. And then two, Marvin Harrison Sr. made $65 million as a NFL player. So I don't know that the $20 million, respectfully, is going to move that family for him to come back for his senior season.
Okay. Hey, man, appreciate it. Will, I see you on the other side. Elwin, final comments. What about you as you move on down? I appreciate it. Will, I see you on the other side. Thanks a lot, man. Elwin,
yes,
what
sir.
about your final comments, man?
Well, again, It was very disappointing. Like you said at the outset, the game was not nearly as close as the 36-22 score made it sound like. I don't think it was a matter of lack of preparation. I just think it was a matter of Cleveland was focused. Joe Flacco had an all-world game. And the Texans, of course, as you mentioned, losing 3 starters in the first quarter. It was just more than they could overcome. I don't think Houston fans should get frustrated and go, oh, my gosh, why did we lose? Look over here, we're 1 game over 500. Because when this season began, if anybody would have told those fans with 2 games left in the season you're going to be 8-7, they would have probably been ridden out of town on a rail. Nobody thought this team was going to win at best. I went out on a limb and I said 7-10. But I don't think anybody was expecting this year to be more than 4 or 5 wins. So I don't think the fans should get down. They need to show up next Sunday on New Year's Eve when the Tennessee Titans come to town. I think the Texans will win that game, whether CJ's back or not, but I think he will be back. And then it's probably all going to come down to that final game on the 7th of January in Indianapolis as to whether they make the playoffs or not.
All right, bro. Be safe down the road. Have a blessed Christmas, man. We'll be
You
talking.
too, brother.
I guess I'll see you New Year's Eve, huh? Will you be back?
I'll be there.
All right, man. Be good. Be safe, and I'll catch you down the road.
All right. Appreciate it, brother. Merry Christmas.
Right, take care. Same to you.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right, all right, folks, as I get ready to wrap it up, I'm ready to jump on. I'm going to shut this down, and I got to move over to this is a continuation. Sun is out, and, bad weather, the sun is out. So as I get ready to close it out, let me wish each and every one of you all a very blessed Merry Christmas. Tomorrow with family and everything, New Year's night, understand the reason for the season. Let's, as families get together, be blessed. Have a good time, have a blessed time with family tomorrow, and understand that, that your blessings that you have, count your blessings, folks. Be mindful and count your blessings. So as I get ready to go, ciao, I'm out. Merry Christmas to you. I'm going to jump over on the other channel when I get my link, and we'll be out of here. So this is your man, Adolphus A.D. Moore from NRG Stadium as your Houston Texans went down today to the Cleveland Browns, 36-22. No, it was not that close. The Browns came in here and hammered the Texans today, but still, as far as I'm concerned, was not their worst ball game. The worst ball game was still last week again. It was 2 weeks ago against the New York Jets, and that's when they just really they did that was a turkey. But anyway, a blessed Christmas to each and every one of you, and I'll catch you next week. I'm out. Take care, folks.